Discretion is advised.
And that breaking news is out of Henrico County, where police say a local soldier has been arrested for rape. I'm Bill Fitzgerald.
I'm Candace Burns, and our Melissa Hippolyte is live outside the county jail tonight. Melissa, what can you tell us about this case?
Well, Candace, Travis Godfrey is here at the Henrico County Jail tonight. This is about 36 miles from Fort Lee, where Godfrey lives and works as a soldier. Henrico police say they responded to a report of a sexual assault in the 4400 block of Sprinkle Lane. That's off Staples Mill Road and not far from the Henrico County Jail. That visit resulted in the police charging 24-year-old Travis Jermaine Godfrey on Thursday with rape. We've learned Godfrey is a soldier stationed at Fort Lee. A spokesperson there confirmed he is a private first class with the Headquarters 832 Ordnance Battalion. Now, we asked Godfrey for a jailhouse interview, but he declined our request. Working for you tonight in Henrico County, I'm Melissa Hippolyte for CBS 6.
We have some new video just in tonight of a person of interest. This is related to the deadly shooting at Underground. Want to tell you more on the story as Atlanta police want to speak to the man in connection with Misha Moore's death. Her body was found Tuesday night. This video captured just before the murder shows Moore with the man wearing that hard hat, navy jacket, construction boots, and a backpack as well.
We can't confirm whether or not he committed the homicide, but we know that it appears that he was the last person that probably was with her that we can determine on the video.
Police say they're not sure if the man pictured is actually a construction worker or not. If you have information, please call Crime Stoppers.
A North Mississippi mother is behind bars this evening. The crime she's accused of is hard to stomach. Felicia Bolton joins us now, live from Le Bonheur Hospital, with why this Oxford mother is facing a felony charge for allegedly throwing her baby to the ground. Is that right, Felicia?
Yeah, those accusations are correct tonight, Joe. The details are slowly emerging of these allegations of that Mississippi mother abusing her 10-month-old baby boy. The alleged abuse was so bad that Le Bonheur Children's Hospital confirms that child was taken here for care. And as deputies continue to investigate this case, many parents are asking why this alleged abuse happened in the first place. According to the Oxford Eagle, Sabrina Holden was arrested for allegedly throwing her 10-month-old child to the ground on Wednesday near 66 County Road 173. The Oxford Eagle reports the baby was flown to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, where he underwent surgery for a broken jaw and other injuries. It's a chilling chronicle of events for others to hear.
Oh my goodness.
It's sad. And it goes back to the Bible, where it says there's going to be a loss of natural affection. Just those things. You would never expect a mother to hurt a child. You just never would.
The Lafayette County Sheriff's Department is handling the investigation, but released very limited details on Friday. Le Bonheur confirms the baby is a patient here, but cannot release any new information.
What kind of anger could you have to prompt you to do something like that?
The Oxford Eagle reports Holden was charged with child deprivation of necessities with substantial harm, a felony charge. Even with those charges, some hope this mom gets more help than being thrown behind bars.
Maybe the mom can get the help that she needs to not lay her hands on her child.
Now, right now, we are still waiting from the County Sheriff's Department to release additional information on this incident. We've reached out to them several times today, but have not gotten any confirmed information on the latest on these charges and where this woman stands today.
Tonight with breaking news, an arrest has been made in the murder of a Seymour Johnson airman. Police say Bobby Williams shot and killed Ryan Apollo Morgan just after he left a bar in Goldsboro.
At the time, investigators told CBS North Carolina they believed an argument argument led to the shooting. Morgan's death capped off a run of deadly shootings in Goldsboro and led the city to announce it would be hiring more officers and working on community outreach.
Just before 10 this morning, Norfolk police say a sergeant was leaving this Dunkin' Donuts on North Military Highway headed to his patrol car when out of nowhere a man threw something in his face. That man, they say, is 51-year-old Dale Bright, who, after throwing the liquid in the sergeant's face, took off. Although burned in his eyes, face, neck, and hands, the sergeant chased the suspect and called for backup. Bright was arrested on East Virginia Beach Boulevard by the injured sergeant and other officers. A police spokeswoman won't say specifically what was thrown at the sergeant because it's considered evidence, but she says it was a corrosive liquid.
Right now, Richmond police are looking for the man accused of brutally beating and choking his pregnant girlfriend. Marvin Brown has been on the run since Monday's assault on Old Brook Road. The victim reached out only to our Ashley Montfort to share her story about this horrific attack and how she managed to survive. Ashley, horrifying story, yes.
Yeah, it really is horrifying. It's a miracle that this young mother and her baby survived. Now, she reached out to me because she hopes her story will inspire other people in domestic violence situations to leave. Now, we did conceal her identity at request of her family, but she did let us use her name.
The doctor told me that he's not going to survive another attack at all.
21-year-old Kiana is talking about her unborn son. She's 6 months pregnant, and they just survived a brutal beating. Her body and belly are covered in bruises, and her arm is broken. She says her boyfriend, Marvin Brown, is to blame.
He has the broom in like a batting position.
She says the weapon was a broom handle and his fist. She took multiple blows to her face and body.
I just looked in his eyes and I was like, well, what about your son? Like, I just kept saying, what about your son? What about your child? What about the baby? What about the baby?
Kiana made it outside the apartment on Old Brook Road, where ice and snow covered the ground.
I ran outside barefoot, just screaming for help. Help me, I'm pregnant. Help me, I'm pregnant.
But she says the horrific attack didn't stop.
He grabbed me by my neck and he started to strangle me.
She says there were witnesses, but nobody stopped to help.
He picked me back up and he was like, you're gonna make me kill you.
She says he threw her belly first onto the ground twice. She says when Brown went back into the building, a neighbor ended up saving her life. Kiana had one request for paramedics.
And I just kept saying, I just need y'all to save my baby.
Now, this wasn't the first time he beat you, though, or abused you.
He's tried to push me down the stairs. He's locked me out of his house at 4 o'clock in the morning. I slept outside on the concrete.
You were pregnant when this was happening?
Yes.
In the middle of the chaos, Brown took off. We looked into his background and found several articles calling him a community activist who mentors incarcerated youth. Kiana says the articles were written when she had other protective orders out against him.
And take a look at your screen. I just got a statement from the organization Rise for Youth where Brown was a volunteer. They say safety is a priority. Now, Brown's last known address was the 3900 block of Chamberlain Avenue. Police say he may be armed. If you know where he is, call police.
A man who was shot by Raleigh police after officers say he pulled a knife on them is out of the hospital and in jail. Chigio Kennedy Maduke is charged with assault on a law enforcement officer with a deadly weapon. On November 30th, police say Maduke broke into his old apartment. When officers tried to get him out, police say he pulled out a kitchen knife and rushed towards the officers, who then fired at him. He was shot several times. A police officer was also shot by a fellow officer's bullet. According to police, that officer was not seriously hurt.
Action News this morning, a Delaware woman who pleaded guilty to raping a 13-year-old boy has been sentenced to probation. Smyrna police had arrested Elaine Goodman in 2015. Yesterday, a judge sentenced the 46-year-old Dover woman to 2 years of probation. Goodman was also ordered to complete sexual disorders counseling and also register as a sex offender.
A week-long trial involving an Atlanta police officer ends in a mistrial. You watched it happen live on CBS 46 News at 6 o'clock. Officer Christopher Blaze was accused of hitting a pedestrian while speeding down Metropolitan Parkway. Siren off, lights off. That pedestrian later died. The Night Team's court reporter Brittany Miller breaks down what happened today and what's next.
After about 9 hours of deliberation,
I understand that your remain jury has not yet been able to reach a unanimous verdict.
A jury deadlocked in a 5-7 split. The group of 12 couldn't agree on whether Atlanta police officer Christopher Blaze was guilty or not guilty of hitting and killing Bernard Moore with his police cruiser. So Officer Blaze's attorney pushed for a mistrial.
And it doesn't sound like a 4-day weekend or 3-day weekend is going to make much of a difference either. So it sounds like a mistrial.
And that's exactly what happened.
I'm deeply saddened that we weren't able to get a verdict today.
Keshana Spencer is Moore's daughter. For a week, she stood with prosecutors as they fought to prove speeding killed her father. They say Officer Blaze was going at least 15 miles per hour over the speed limit.
But I just really thought that, the fact that he admitted to speeding would have played a major role.
The defense argued Moore's own actions are to blame for his death. They say he failed to use the crosswalk, wore dark clothing, and was under the influence. It's unclear if this case will be retried. That decision will be left up to District Attorney Paul Howard. In downtown Atlanta, Brittany Miller, CBS 46.
We'll be right back.